Hello there.
In this video, I'm trying to learn Blender for my upcoming project, game development, and this is the first upload on this series, and trust me, you're going to see a lot of videos on this series. So this series is divided into 3 parts: artwork / Blender, coding, and game development. We will discuss about the coding and game development parts after completing this part. So I started my journey as anyone else who's interested in Blender too. Ever since I was a child, I yearned for knowledge. Blender knowledge. Anyways, I opened up my browser and searched it up on the internet, and by the way, I kinda knew some things like the basic and how to move and stuff in Blender, because even before this channel's existence I wanted to learn Blender because I wanted money. So I found this video, but I got bored, like really bored, and to be honest, I don't think so it was the video. I believe I was the problem. But after announcing this series, I downloaded Blender again and once again searched on the internet, and I found some manuals. But to be honest, reading is boring as fuck. So I went to Blender fundamental playlist, which I also found boring. At this point, I believed I had ADHD, like being distracted easily. Yes, finding it hard to listen to what people are saying or to follow instructions. Yes, forgetting everyday task. Yes. Anyways, eventually I found the infamous donut tutorial, and as of April 4, 2025, I can confirm that this project took me the longest to make, and no other project took me this long. This project took me 2 days to complete. So this tutorial was uploaded by Blender Guru, and I highly recommend checking his channel out if you want to learn more about Blender. This guy is legit awesome, and if you have any problems with any of your project, make sure to check his Discord server. There's tons of people that will help you. By the way, I'm so sorry for the quality. I just installed OBS and I did not knew that this was this bad. Like, the quality is trash, but trust me, as the video progressed, this quality would get better. So I'm so sorry. So at the beginning, Blender Guru taught me how to actually use Blender and the basics of Blender basically. Then we kinda added a monkey and a party hat, but I learned how to color the material, how lighting works, and I also learned how to use the camera and how to render images, which I basically did not knew before the tutorial. Anyways, after learning the basics, the next step was how to make a donut. We started by making a torus, adjusting some of the properties, and then shading it to smooth. Then we added subdivision modifier, which actually made it much better. Like, you could see those rough square shaped edges turning into a more circular shape one. After this, I went into edit mode and kind of stretch or move some of the points. As you can see, I don't know what they are called. I think they are called verticals, but I'm just going to refer them as points. Then I selected all of the middle points or verticals, and I kind of moved them inward so I could give the torus a much donut type shape, as you can see in this image. So at this point, I needed to duplicate the project and then delete the lower part of the duplicated torus. But as an idiot I am, after just watching what to do, I forgot. Like, I had to rewatch the video again and again, and I was still fumbling the back so hard, as you can see. This was actually sad to see, not gonna lie, but thank God I finally managed to do it. And then came the icing part, and oh my god, this part was actually difficult. Like, I would not say difficult, but one of the longest. So I had to make it bigger than the original one, and I had to make it look like it was dripping at the same time. The next thing we had to do was to fix some of the points or slash verticals that were messed up, as you can see here. And then we kind of did some basic steps like sculpturing. By the way, I still don't know how sculpturing works in Blender. It's a problem for future me to deal with. Anyways, after adding some colors to the donut, I added a plane, and that plane basically was the floor, and the floor needed some kind of textures. And to remind you guys, I'm no Leonardo da Vinci nor I'm Vincent van Gogh. I needed textures. So Blender Guru told me to go to his website, which I will also give the link in description. And basically I just went there, downloaded some floor textures, which then, let me be honest, I still don't understand how to add textures to object, and trust me, I just memorized the steps, like, adding textures to materials. And whenever I need to add some textures, I would just be like, oh, color, boom, picture. Oh, roughness, boom, picture. oh, normal map, and then boom, picture. That's all. I just memorized all of it. After all of this memorization, we added some textures to the donut, and no, it wasn't like the previous texturing, like copy paste and like this shit. We actually had to manually texture the donut by using lighter color to give it a more realistic vibe, which it kinda did, and I love it, to be honest. Like, this looks like an actual donut at this point. Okay, now it's time to add sprinkles. Actually, one of the difficult parts, because I had Blender 2.9 installed and the tutorial was for Blender 4.0. At this point, I don't know why I did download 2.9. Okay, now it's time to add sprinkles, which means that we have completed making the base of the donut and it's icing. After making the base of the donut and it's icing, I was quite tired, and at this point, to be honest, I was literally like losing hope, but we ain't gonna give up. We're gonna grind. 90% of the gamblers. okay, I'm sorry with the gambling joke. Anyways, I opened the geometry nodes tab and there I created new, and I wanted to add distribute points on face as Blender Guru did, but I was using an older version of Blender which was 2.9. I had distribute point instead of distribution points on face. I think they renamed the name from distribute point to distribute points on face, but I don't know. And to be honest, at this point it was like your Blender versus TurboFlex Blender aha moment, to be honest. After some time I realized that I had the nodes set on my plane, aka floor, and I'm sure at this point I'm diagnosed with stupidness. Okay, so I added point distribute node between the input and output group, and then added a join geometry node which then was also connected to the geometry input, and finally I clicked on Ctrl A and added a new mesh which was a UV sphere and adjusted some settings of it. And the next step was to add the object's info into the geometry node so we can connect it to point instance. But as I was in an older version, I just searched my object and clicked on it, and ta-da, we have sprinkles. Well, not quite, we just have balls considered as sprinkles. We actually need to make some sprinkles, and I added a cylinder and then Control B, which allows it to make these curves on the, I think, the upper part of the cylinder, and then I basically duplicated the cylinder and I extended the size of the duplicated sprinkles to give more diversity, as we would have more than one type of sprinkles in our donut. But on the last sprinkle I needed to add a bit bend, or you can say curve, to that last sprinkle, because some sprinkles have that curve in them. I like added the modifier and it basically deformed. Luckily for me, the scale was already applied when I clicked on Control A, and then when I went to edit mode and clicked on Control R, so I created some loops and I successfully added blend to my sprinkle. And now I just had to duplicate my donut, and I also made some new folders to separate the sprinkles from the donut. Anyways, at this point I went to geometry nodes again and changed the object to collection. In the point instant node, selected the L collection, but there was a problem, which was that they were too small. Like, I couldn't see them, and to be honest, I was tired for so long at this point, and even if I tried to do anything and I tried my best to fix it, but it did not work. So I was actually forced to download a new version of Blender, and I decided to download 3.6. And at this point you would be thinking, why can't you just download 4.0? Well, the problem is my PC can't run 4.0 because it's an old laptop, and it's not even a PC, by the way, it's an old laptop. And this fortunately had most of the features, which was great. So I loaded up my donut and basically rewatched the entire section of how to add sprinkles and did the whole geometry, and finally I had some progress. But as I was starting to think that everything was going good, disaster struck. I still had that problem. And at this point I was quite like losing hope. So I just went to Discord and I asked some help from the people in the server, and 2 people volunteered to help me. One of them was Charitina, Black Hawk, shout out to them. But unfortunately it did not help. At this point I was losing all hope. I was like, I should end this project and should disappear from the internet, and I should do that because there was nothing. I got a reply from one of the helpers, and he basically asked me to give him my file so he can fix it for me. And oh my god, finally after so long we have fucking sprinkles on our fucking donut. Hell yes. But we still needed to add color because this shit was looking plain as hell, bruh. Finally we needed to set up our camera, and as you can see, it did not went good. But we finally fixed it. Yeah, we finally fixed it, and then I added a wall in the background, and I added some textures, and that's it. I think that was it. This was the final result of the donut, and I knew there was more to the tutorial and I didn't completely watch it. Thing is, I was kind of happy with the result, and here we are. It took me 2 days, and you may be wondering at this point, what's next? Is this it? Well, after making some project, I understand two things: that I have two main weaknesses. One, that my laptop is shit. Two, I am shit at Blender. So yeah, so basically I still need to do some work on my Blender skills, and then we can actually move to coding. So this is going to be a long journey. If you want to be a part of this journey, you know what to do. And by the way, join Discord because I'll be uploading my progress there from time to time. And to be honest, I know this is quite a short video, and I did not cover a lot of the part of it because I think that was it. I still don't know how to make videos, so this is my first time making project like these. I hope you guys enjoyed. Thanks for watching. Peace.